Hi, welcome back to Art by Brooke. In today's video, I'm doing a paint pour using only materials from a store that I have in my area called Five Below. It's kind of similar to the idea of like a Family Dollar or Dollar Tree, but everything is generally around $5 or less, though I think they're kind of changing that a little bit. But in general, there's a lot of really cool stuff you can find there, and over the last couple of years, they've started to add more art supplies. Now, I've bought things from there before. I'm a little behind on trying out some of their kits and things like that, but I recently went in and saw that they had actual paint pouring sets. So I grabbed the 2 sets, and I also grabbed a 2-pack of canvas. Now, in my experience, canvas at places like dollar stores or Five Below, as is the case, aren't always the most cost effective. So usually if you buy them at maybe like a Michael's or a Joann's when they're on sale or other places, you might be able to get better deals. But I like to do videos using only supplies from a specific store in case that's the only store in your area. So I can test them out and kind of tell you what I think. For this video, I want to use this set, so we will save this one for another one. I'm going to go ahead and open this up, set up the canvas, and we'll get right to pouring. Okay, so I have the canvas open, and I set the other one aside for later. Now, here is the back. It's just stapled down, and it's just kind of a lightweight wood frame. It does seem like the canvas is sealed with some sort of gesso or paint. The corners are dented in a little bit. There's a chance that might fix as it gets paint on it and it kind of dries and then maybe stretches a little bit more. We'll see, but it's not the end of the world. Now I opened all the paints. I actually shook them really well, and it feels like they're very, very thin. So a little bit worried about that. That can be kind of an issue with pouring paint, with getting colors kind of muddied and mixing together and not being able to get really defined lines. But we will do some testing. So I think for this video, I want to do kind of more of a puddle pour, basically where I layer the colors straight out of the containers right onto the canvas. And that gives us the best chance of kind of having more defined colors and hopefully not letting them get muddy. Now on the pink one, I will try to do a tree ring pour. And so we'll do kind of like 2 different types. So you can keep an eye out for that coming up in the next couple weeks as well. The colors that came in this are neon blue, pastel green, primary cyan, and metallic gold. I don't really know if I would consider this cyan or not, but I'm not the best with colors, so I don't know. So I think I'm going to do 2 puddles. I'm just going to pour straight out of the top. The lid does have like a little spout that opens up, and maybe I will use that for the end when I want to do just smaller amounts. But I tend to find it easier just to pour straight out of the top. Yeah, it's very liquid. That gold is incredible looking though, so I'm very excited about that. There are some cool effects happening in here. Hopefully you can see that. Down through here, this is kind of like creeping onto the blue, and in here we're getting some cells. Sorry, my lighting is being weird. There we go. Okay, hopefully that is enough. Let's go ahead and try tilting it. Oh yeah, very liquidy. Actually, I want to run a stick through the middle of this. Let's use the end of this paintbrush. That gold is so shiny, really, really pretty. But this is a very liquid mixture. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I really had to help that over the sides. It did not seem to want to flow very well. So I definitely had to check all the different sides, and it's very thin, so it's not really going to do the greatest coverage along the sides. But I kind of did my best effort to get all the corners covered, and I think it's just going to end up with kind of patchy, almost bald looking spots, but that's just what happens when it's really thin. I'm actually pleasantly surprised that we have some definition still. Definitely the colors kind of go over each other in some places, and it could get a little muddy as it dries. We'll see. But I think so far it's looking okay. And this is a really fun pattern, so that's pretty cool. We have a little bit of lacing from the gold, and that's like right off the bat. So we will see once it kind of sits for a few minutes. We'll see in a close-up to see if there's any more cells developing. I'm already seeing the paint kind of pulling away from this spot here and this spot over here. I guess it's possible there were oils on the canvas, but it's also just possible that it's super thin paint, so it's not adhering as well. I'm going to go ahead and gently blow on it a little bit to see if that will help any bubbles come out, and then we will let it sit for a little while and then come in for a closer look. Okay, so we're back, and it's probably been about 20-25 minutes. Also, my dog is in the room with me now, so if you hear jingling behind me, that's just her. I don't think this has really changed much, so let's take a closer look. So over here, we have a lot of the blue and a little bit of the color coming through. And then we go across here, and there's some of the gold. She's being very loud right now, sorry. And then over here, you can see some of that lacing from the gold. It's very hard to show you how shiny this gold is, but it's very, very shiny. And I will definitely make sure I insert a clip of the dry painting as well. And then over here, we have a lot of really good definition, which I was thinking we wouldn't get. So that's very cool. Now, I can't tell if these are little like air pockets or if they're just cells or some sort of reaction from the metallic paint, but that'll be interesting to see as it dries as well. And then we come all the way down here into this like funnel area, and it just looks really cool. So you can see some of the areas that it kind of pulled off right here, and then up and over this way, yeah, here in the corner. So it's a little frustrating. Not sure if that's the canvas or the paint, so might have to check and see how it works on the next canvas and just see if we get it again, and then maybe do some tests from there. So there we go. That is the paint pour while it's still wet. And let's go ahead and jump forward in time to the dry paint pour. This is Editing Brooke coming in to show you this picture of the kind of in-between time before the paint pour was dry. The edges kind of show you how much darker it dried than the way that the colors looked when they first were on the canvas. This is pretty normal when I use Floetrol as well, so it's something I usually come to expect. Here we are. This is the next day. It dried really quickly, I think, because it was so thin. And sorry about the lighting. That's light coming in from my window, so let me go ahead and pick this up. So you can kind of see it in the light here. And let's see if I can show you how shimmery that gold is. Super, super pretty. So something that's really interesting about this is I was trying to touch up a few kind of just empty spots where there was white canvas peeking through, and it seemed like if you tried to pat on some paint, it would start to wipe off the paint around it, which is really strange because the paint around it is dry. So just a very strange thing to happen, and it's very, very thin, so you can see every texture of the canvas, which is not abnormal for fluid paint, but it usually fills in a little bit better. And let's turn it around so you can see the other side. So, you know, not too bad. And also the canvas itself seems like it stretched out a little bit. So those corners look a lot better now. So that's actually great. Like, they don't look like they're dipped in like they were before. And I think that turned out pretty cool. Sorry about the movement. There's wind moving the trees outside, so they're kind of filtering the light through very strangely. But anyway, yeah, I think this is a fun set to try. It's probably not my favorite, but the colors are really nice and seem to have some good definition. And that gold is so pretty. So I'm very excited to do some more with these paints. I still have some left of these colors, so I might even try to do a little mini geode, because I think these colors would be so nice for that. And yeah, so keep an eye out for that. And I also need to try the pink set still, and I think it's good so far. What do you think about it? Do you think you would try these paints at home? Do you have a favorite pre-made paint pouring set? Check in the description down below, and I will link some of my other review videos of other sets and things like that, or if you just want to see some of my other paint pouring videos. I've also done a couple of dollar store paint pours, so check that out down below too. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and click the bell so you get a notification every time I post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.